Okay, Hare Krishna devotees. So let us start the reading with chapter 30 with brief prayers. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Destarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So today we'll read from chapter 30 of Krishna book. In my book is page number 233. Your book may be different. Any of you are in a position to read? Otherwise, you can listen also.
So, Prabhu, I can read.
Oh, sure, Mother.
Krishna's hiding from the gopis. When Krishna suddenly disappeared from the company of the gopis, they searched for him everywhere. After not finding him anywhere, they became afraid and almost mad after him. They were simply thinking of the pastimes of Krishna in great love and affection. Being absorbed in thought of him, they experienced loss of memory, and with dampened eyes, they began to see the very pastimes of Krishna. His beautiful talks with them, his embracing, kissing, and other activities. Being so attracted to Krishna, they imitated his dancing, his walking, and his smiling, and as if they themselves were Krishna. Due to Krishna's absence, they all became crazy. Each one of them told the others that she was Krishna herself. Soon they all assembled together and chanted Krishna's name very loudly as they moved from one part of the forest to another, searching for him. Actually, Krishna is all pervasive. He is in the sky, and he is in the forest. He is within the heart, and he is always everywhere. The gopis therefore began to question the trees and plants about Krishna. There were various types of big trees and small plants in the forest, and the gopis addressed them. Dear banyan tree, have you seen the son of Maharaj Nanda passing this way, laughing and playing on his flute? He has he has stolen our hearts and gone away. If you have seen him, kindly inform us which way he has gone. Dear Ashoka tree, dear Naga flower tree, and Champaka flower tree, have you seen the younger brother of Balaram pass this way? He has disappeared because of our pride. The gopis were aware of the reason for Krishna's sudden disappearance. They could understand that when had been enjoying Krishna, they thought themselves to be the most fortunate woman within the universe. And since they were feeling proud, Krishna had disappeared immediately just to curb their pride. Krishna does not like his devotees to be proud of their service to him. He accepts everyone's service, and he does not like one devotee to proudly consider himself better than others. If sometimes there are such feelings, Krishna ends them by changing his attitude towards the devotee. The gopis then addressed the Tulsi plant. Dear Tulsi, you are much beloved by Lord Krishna because your leaves are always at his lotus feet. Dear Malati flower, dear Malika flower, dear Jasmine flower, all of you have been touched by Krishna while he was passing this way after giving us transcendental enjoyment. Have you seen Madhava passing this way? O mango trees, O trees of jackfruit, O pear trees and asana trees, O blackberries and bale trees, and trees of the kadamba flower, you are all very pious trees to be living on the bank of the Yamuna. Krishna must have passed through this way. Will you kindly let us know which way he has gone? The gopis then looked upon the ground they were traversing and began to address the earth. Dear earthly planet, we do not know how many penances and austerities you have undergone to be now living with the footprints of Lord Krishna upon you. You are very jolly. The hairs on your body are these jubilant trees and plants. Lord Krishna must have been very pleased with you. Otherwise, how could he have embraced you in the form of Varaha, the boar? When you were submerged in water, he delivered you, taking the whole weight of your existence on his tusk. After dressing the innumerable trees and plants and the earth, they turned their faces towards the beautiful deer, who were looking at them very pleasantly. It appears they addressed the deer that Krishna, who is the supreme Narayana himself, must have passed through this way along with his companion Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. Otherwise, how is it possible that the aroma of his garland, which is smeared with the red kumkum from the breast of the goddess of fortune, can be perceived in the breeze blowing here? It appears that they must have passed through here and touched your bodies, and thus you are feeling so pleasant and are looking toward us with sympathy. Will you kindly, therefore, inform us which way Krishna has gone? Krishna is the well wisher of Vrindavan. He is as kind to you as to us. Therefore, after leaving us, he must have been present in your company. O fortunate trees, we are thinking of Krishna, the younger brother of Balaram. While passing through here, with one hand resting on the shoulder of the goddess of fortune and the other hand twirling a lotus flower, he must have been very much pleased to accept your obeisances, and he must have glanced at you with great pleasure. Some of the gopis then addressed their gopi friends. Dear friends, why don't you question these creepers who are so jubilantly embracing the big trees as if the trees were their husbands? It appears that the flowers of the creepers must have been touched by the nails of Krishna. Otherwise, how could they feel so jubilant? After searching for Krishna here and there, the gopis became fatigued, and then they began to talk like mad women. They could satisfy themselves only by imitating the different pastimes of Krishna. One of them imitated the demon Putana, and one of them imitated Krishna and sucked her breast. One gopi imitated a hand-driven cart, and another gopi lay down beneath the cart and threw up her legs, touching the wheels of the cart, as Krishna did to kill the demon Sakatasura. One gopi imitated child Krishna and lay down on the ground, and one gopi became the demon Pratanavata and carried the small child Krishna by force into the sky. And one of the gopis began to imitate Krishna while he was attempting to walk, ringing his ankle bells. Two gopis imitated Krishna and Balaram, and many others imitated their cowherd boyfriends. One gopi assumed the form of Bakasura, and another forced her to fall down as the demon Bakasura did when he was killed. Similarly, another gopi defeated Vatsasura, just as Krishna used to call his cows by their different names. So the gopis imitated him, calling the cows by their respective names. One of the gopis began to play on a flute, and another praised her the way Krishna's boyfriends praised him while he played on his flute. One of the gopis took another gopi on her shoulders, just as Krishna used to take his boyfriends. Absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, the gopi who was carrying her friend began to boast that she was Krishna herself. All of them just see, all of you just see my movement. One of the gopis raised her hand with her covering garments and said, Now don't be afraid of the torrents of rain and severe hurricanes. I'll save you. In this way, she imitated the lifting of Govardhan Hill. One gopi forcibly put her feet on the head of another gopi and said, "You rascal Kalia, I shall punish you severely. You must leave this place. I have descended to this earth and punish all kinds of miscreants." Another gopi told her friends, "Just see, the flames of the forest fire are coming to devour us. Please close your eyes and I shall immediately save you from this imminent danger." In this way, all the gopis were madly feeling the absence of Krishna. They inquired about him from the trees and the plants. In some places, they found the imprints of the marks on the soles of his feet, namely the flag, the lotus flower, the trident, the thunderbolt, etc. After seeing those footprints, they exclaimed, "Oh, here is the impression of the marks of the soles of Krishna's feet. All the marks, such as the flag, the lotus flower, the trident, and the thunderbolt, are distinctly visible here." They began to follow the footprints, and shortly they saw another set of footprints beside them, and immediately they became very sorry. Dear friends, just see, whose are those other footprints? They are beside the footprints of the son of Maharaj Nanda. It is certainly Krishna passing through, resting his hand on some other gopi, exactly as an elephant goes side by side with his beloved mate. We must, therefore, understand that this particular gopi served Krishna with greater affectionate love than ourselves. Because of this, although he has left us, he could not leave her company. He has taken her along with him. Dear friends, just imagine how the dust of this place is transcendently glorious. The dust of the lotus feet of Krishna is worshipped even by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva and the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. But at the same time, we are very sorry that this particular gopi has gone along with Krishna, for she is enjoying the nectar of Krishna's kisses and leaving us aside to lament. Oh, friends, just see, at this particular spot, we do not see the footprints of that gopi. It appears that because there were some pinpricks from the dry grass, Krishna took Krishna took Radharani on his shoulder. Oh, she is so dear to him. Krishna must have picked some flowers in the spot to satisfy Radharani, because here, where he stood erect to get the flowers from the high branches of the trees, we only we find only half the impression of his feet. Dear friends, just see how Krishna must have sat down here with Radharani and tried to set flowers in her hair. You can be certain that both of them sat together here. Krishna is self-sufficient. He has nothing to enjoy from any other source. Yet, just to satisfy his devotee, he treated Radharani exactly as a lusty boy treats his girlfriend. Krishna is so kind that he always tolerates the disturbances created by his girlfriends. Do you want me to still continue, Prabhu?
Yeah, there's only one more page. We can ask if somebody would like to read. Yeah, thank you, Mate.
Yeah, it ends there. Sure.
Yeah,
Does someone
anyone
else
else?
want to read, or could I continue?
Yeah, sure. Let me ask. Anybody else would like to read?
Sorry, Prabhuji, I'm driving.
No, no worries, Mate. Yeah. Then, yeah, you can continue, Mate, if it's okay for you. Otherwise, I'll read by the
No
Mate.
problem.
Yeah.
In this way, all the gopis pointed out the faults of that particular gopi who had been taken alone by Krishna. They said that this chief gopi, Radharani, must be very proud of her position, thinking herself the greatest of the gopis. Yet, how could Krishna take her away alone, leaving all of us aside? unless she is extraordinarily qualified and beautiful. She must have taken Krishna into the deep forest and told him, "My dear Krishna, I am now very tired. I cannot go any further. Please carry me wherever you like." When Krishna was spoken to in this way, he might have told Radharani, "All right, better get on my shoulder." But immediately Krishna must have disappeared, and now Radharani must be lamenting for him. "My dear lover, my dearest, you are so fine and so powerful. Where have you gone? I am nothing but your most obedient maidservant. I am very much aggrieved. Please come and be with me again." Krishna, however, is not coming to her. He must be watching her from a distant place and enjoying her sorrow. All the gopis then went further and further into the forest, searching out Krishna. But when they learned that actually Radharani was left alone by Krishna, they became very sorry. This is a test of Krishna consciousness. In the beginning, they were a little envious that Krishna had taken Radharani alone, leaving aside all the other gopis. But as soon as they knew that Krishna had also left Radharani and she was alone lamenting for him, they became more sympathetic to her. The gopis found Radharani and heard everything from her about how she had misbehaved with Krishna and how she was proud and was insulted for her pride. After hearing all this, they became actually very sympathetic. Then all the gopis, including Radharani, proceeded further into the forest until they could no longer see the moonlight. When they saw that it was getting gradually darker, they stopped. Their mind and intelligence became absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. They all imitated the activities of Krishna and his speeches. Due to their heart and soul being completely given to Krishna, they began to chant his glories, completely forgetting their family interests. In this way, all the gopis returned to the bank of the Yamuna and assembled there. And expecting that Krishna must return to them, they simply engaged in chanting the glories of Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 13th chapter of Krishna, Krishna's hiding from the gopis. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Madhuri, for reading the entire chapter. So, there's a nice section. Krishna's hiding from the gopis. If you remember the context from the last chapter, what was happening was Krishna was enjoying with in the Rasa Leela, Rasa dance with the gopis. And at that time, gopis felt little proud that, wow, we are so fortunate that we get association of Krishna like this. That Krishna detected, like gopis are saying here, and Krishna left them, it's described. So that is what was described in the end of the last chapter, basically. And in the end of the last chapter, Sri Prabhupada glorifies Krishna's quality of renunciation. Even though he had opportunity to associate with so many gopis, still to benefit them, to teach them a lesson, he left their association also. That is the quality of renunciation Krishna had. That's how the last chapter ended. This chapter, what happens after Krishna disappeared? What did the gopis do? How did they cope up with the situation? What was their situation? That is what is being described in this chapter. So basically, when Krishna disappeared like that, then all the gopis started searching for him everywhere. They became afraid, and they became almost mad to find him like that. And then they were simply thinking of pastimes of Krishna in great love and affection. So this is one theme we can see throughout the chapter. Basically, because they are absorbed in Krishna, their thoughts are absorbed in Krishna, they were thinking about the previous pastimes of Krishna that he has performed with them. That will come up later in the chapter. But that is their absorption. We can see sometimes when we don't get something, we need to see where is our absorption. Sometimes, let us say, when we don't get something, when we don't get some service, our absorption is why I did not get this, why I did not get this, like that. Not an absorption of Krishna. So here, in any situation, gopis are always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. So they began to see the very past tense of Krishna also. Not only they began to think about past tense like that, because there's so much affection for them, for Krishna. And then they started imitating Krishna's dancing, Krishna's walking, Krishna's way of smiling, as if they're like Krishna. So Prabhupada is summarizing the essence of the whole chapter in the first paragraph, basically. And then it's going to elaborate. And they were also chanting Krishna's names very loudly while they're going here and there to search for Krishna, like that. Now, Gopi says, next paragraph starts with statement, actually Krishna is all pervasive, all pervasive. That means he's everywhere. He's in the sky, he's in the forest, he's within the heart, and is everywhere. So gopis, that's why they started to ask the trees and plants about Krishna. So there are various types of trees and small plants are there. So they're asking, oh, my dear banyan tree, did you see the son of Nanda Maharaj go pass by like this here? Then they ask another tree, oh, brother of Balaram, did you see Krishna? Did you see younger brother of Balaram passing by this place, like that? They're not directly mentioning Krishna's name, if you notice. That's how they're starting it. And then they understood, they started saying that, he disappeared, Krishna disappeared because of pride. Like the Prabhupada is writing important point here. One is, gopis intuitively understood the reason why Krishna disappeared. That because we got little pride that how fortunate we are, that's why Krishna disappeared to teach our lesson. That's one thing Prabhupada is commenting here. Second thing is, for us, the lesson is Krishna doesn't like devotees to be proud. So even devotees to be proud of their service also, Krishna doesn't like it. So, and then that means we should not be proud of our abilities of whatever we can do, number one. Another thing is, Krishna doesn't like one devotee to proudly consider, oh, look, I'm so great than others, like that. Krishna doesn't like that mentality also. If somebody has such feelings like I'm greater than everybody, then Krishna will teach a lesson to change that attitude of the devotee, like that. So that is important principle also to know. In fact, we know when we have pride, we cannot go further in devotion service. Pride is an obstacle. Pride is a challenging obstacle through which we'll fall down, basically. So that way, humility is always encouraged, being in a humble position. So that's what this is talking about. So we should not be proud of our service, proud that we are better than others, like that. Then Krishna will be pleased, like that. Yeah, that's the other point. And then gopis were talking to trees and plants, right? Now they came to Tulsi plant and they said, oh, you are so much beloved for Krishna. You always stay at his lotus feet, like that. So they are asking, like that, they're asking Malati flowers also, Malika flowers, Jasmine flowers. All of you must be touched by Krishna while he was passing like this. I've seen him passing like this, like that. They're asking flower trees also. And they're asking fruit trees, mango trees, jackfruit trees, pear trees, asana trees, it seems. I don't know what asana tree means. And then blackberry and bale trees, and the trees of kadambal flower. They're saying, you are very pious trees to be living on the bank of the Yamuna. Normally, among the trees, there are two things. One is flower-bearing trees and fruit-bearing trees. They're considered pious among the rest of the trees. Number one. Number two, here, why the gopis are saying they're pious? Because they are on the bank of the holy river of Yamuna Devi. That is why they're saying you're very fortunate, like that. They're asking, Krishna must have passed you this way. Can you please tell us in which direction he has gone? Like that. Then after gopis asked the trees, plants like this, right? And then they are started addressing Mother Earth itself, saying that, oh, you are so fortunate. You must have done so many penances and austerities. that Krishna's footprints are there even now on you, like that. What is there in Krishna's foot? Some symbols that are also described here. Some of the examples where there flag, lotus, yeah, those are few examples I can see. Then they're also saying to Mother Earth, oh, Krishna must have been very much pleased with you. Otherwise, how he would have embraced you on the form as the form of Varahadev. Remember, as Varahadev, he came in the boar incarnation, and he takes out the earth from the Garbhodak ocean and keeps it back in the orbit. Why did the earth go into the Garbhodak ocean from the orbit? Because of Hiranyaksha's deeds. He tried to get a vast amount of gold by digging earth like that. So, and he put the earth in imbalance because of that. So that's what he's saying, that Krishna touched the earth and then brought it up, right? So he's saying Krishna has embraced the earth. So she's so fortunate, like that they're asking. Then after talking to, then they find a beautiful deer passing by. Then they start talking to the bear. Oh, that Krishna must have passed through along with his consort Lakshmi Devi. Otherwise, how is it possible that we are smelling sweet aroma of his garland that is made with red kunkuma like that? So why are they able to feel that fragrance of Krishna? Because of the breeze that is blowing there, it seems. That's why they say they must have. It appears that both Krishna and his consort, they must have passed through here and touch your bodies. That is why you see feeling so pleasant, and you're looking to us with sympathy. Who are they talking to? To the deer. They say you're looking so ecstatic. That means you must have been touched by Krishna and his consort like that. And then by your eyes feeling, we can see that you are sympathizing with us. So can you tell us where Krishna has gone? Like that, every forest creature they're seeing, they're asking. And then they ask about trees also. So he says, we're thinking of Krishna, the younger brother of Balram. So he must have kept one hand on the shoulder of goddess of fortune, and other hand, he may be twirling a lotus flower. So he must have been very much pleased to accept your obeisances. She's talking to trees again. Krishna must be very pleased with accepting your obeisances. And also, he must have glanced at you also with great pleasure, like that. So this is another beauty of Krishna's loving exchanges with his devotees. Even trees or gopis or gova friends, like that. Just by his glance, he pleases others, like that. So a glance and smile are more often described in the Srimad Bhagavatam as very pleasing to the devotees. Then some of the gopis started to imitate Krishna. So they started to address other gopis first. They said, "Oh, why don't you just question these creepers? They're tightly embracing the big trees as the trees are their husbands. Uh, they must have been touched by nails of Krishna. That's why they're feeling so jubilant." And then after searching for Krishna everywhere, gopis become fatigued, it's described, and they began to talk like a mad woman. Basically, they could only satisfy themselves by enacting the pastimes of Krishna. So interestingly, they enacted several pastimes of Krishna. Like one of them acts like Krishna, and another one acts like a demon, another one acts like a cart, like that. So Prabhupada is describing some of the pastimes they enacted in absorption of Krishna. First one is Putana demon is the one who killed, right? So one of them is acting like Putana, another one of them is acting like Krishna, like that. And another one is also for Shakatasura pastime. One lady was sitting like as if like she's a hand cart, like that, falling down on the earth like that. Basically, she's bending down and acting like a cart, it seems. Another lady acted like Krishna, small baby Krishna, who is moving his legs up and down. Because he in the pastime he only touches the Chakrasura card demon, like that. Like that, they were enacting that pastime, and they were enacting Trinavarta pastime, where one lady was sitting, sleeping on the floor like Krishna. So and one other lady acted like Trinavarta demon and tried to take away Krishna like that. And then Bakasura demon pastime they enacted, and Vatsasura demon pastime they enacted, where Krishna carries a demon like that, Balaram carries another demon like that. That's what is described here. And then after doing these pastimes of killing the demons, they also enacted the pastimes where every day evening, while Krishna is coming back from forest to home, he calls the different groups of cows with their names, it seems. In fact, it's described, he counts the, like how we're chanting 108 beats, like that, Krishna counts the cows groups, it seems. Are they all here like that? With the beats, like that. So, gopis started to imitate how Krishna would call cows. They are also calling the cows basically. Then, actually, it is described later on that this is one of the loving exchange between Krishna and cows. Some of the cows want to hear their name again. So they what they do, they don't come right in the front. It's first it seems. So they wait for Krishna to sweetly call them. So they're happy like that. So that's other thing Acharyas describe also. Then, yeah. And then they also acted like Krishna and gopis. How Krishna is Krishna plays with his friends like that. How Krishna's friends, Gopa friends, praise him while he's playing on his flute, like that. And then normally one Gopa sits on the back of shoulder of Krishna like that. So one gopi was acting like Krishna, another gopi acting like Gopa friends sat on the shoulder of Krishna also, it seems. Like that, they're enacting different pastimes because of absorption in Krishna. That's the main point here. So then, and then they enacted the pastime of Govardhan Hill, saying that I'm going to save you like that. And then they enacted the pastime of Kaliya. And then they enacted the pastime of Krishna withdrawing the fire in the forest after the Kaliya pastime. Then, yeah, while they're madly feeling the absence of Krishna, they started inquiring about with trees, plants, deer, like that we saw, right? Then they saw the footprints of Krishna with the lotus flag, trident, thunderbolt, like that it seems. So auspicious footmarks of Krishna they saw. So they began to follow those footprints, and shortly they saw another set of footprints going right next to Krishna's footprints. They conclude later on, this is our special gopi, Srimati Radharani, like that. So they're saying Krishna must have passed through this, and he must have held the hand of his beloved gopi, like that they say. And then, yeah, and they glorify Srimati Radharani first. They say how this particular gopi served Krishna with greatest affectionate love than ourselves, like that. Generally, it's hard to accept that we are not up to the mark. We are not superior like that. Others are superior to us. But gopis don't have that feelings. Gopis are happy to accept that others, Krishna's, where are we? Sorry, yeah, it's a greater affectionate love than ourselves. Yeah, they're glorifying Radharani here in this case. They start with glorifying Radharani, and they feel little envious towards Radharani. Again, they accept Radharani's greatness like that. So they're glorifying Radharani's greatness at this point. That uh, she must have so much love for Krishna than us. That's why, what did Krishna do? Krishna took her away from us in the middle of the Rasa dance. He wanted to spend time with her, so that's why we went like that. They're discussing, and then after some time, they don't see the second pair of footprints of Srimati Radharani. Then uh, they think, oh, actually, Krishna must have took Radharani on his shoulder at this time. And Krishna must have picked some flowers here for Radharani because at this place, the footprints are not fully on the floor. That means they see only half the footprints. That means Krishna must have stood on his toes to capture the flowers from the topmost branches, like that they are describing. So interestingly, one thing to notice here is uh, they're depending upon Pratyaksha Praman also here. They're depending on Anuman Praman, and they already depended on Shabda Praman, because they already gopis, by the dint of devotion, they have revealed knowledge from Vedas also. So this is important thing in our devotee life also. Sometimes we think that okay, everything that we see is useless. Everything we infer, make assumptions is useless. Only thing is Shabda Brahman. So of course, Shabda Brahman, which is Aparusha knowledge coming from Vedas, is the best thing, best truth that we can have. But others can support it also. It's not that others are trash, Pratyaksh Praman, Anuman Praman. But the highest way of knowing knowledge is Shabda Pramana. That is clear. Because whatever Pratyaksh Praman and Anuman Praman cannot give also, the Shabda Praman can give. For example, information about the spiritual world. We cannot see with our eyes. We cannot see even far away airplane sometimes. So then we cannot see spiritual world with our eyes or any other senses. Similarly, but Vedas can describe that which we cannot access by our senses, like that. That's the greatness of Shabda Praman also, simultaneously. So now they're saying, we're very sorry that Krishna actually took this particular gopi. For that reason, he left us like that. Like that, they're feeling little sorry also. And then they're saying, actually, Krishna is self-sufficient. That means just to satisfy his devotee, he treated Radharani exactly like an ordinary boy treats a girlfriend, like that. So basically, they're appreciating Krishna's love for Srimati Radharani. Even though Krishna is self-sufficient, still engages in loving exchanges with Srimati Radharani, like that. And then they started to analyze. Maybe at this spot, Srimati Radharani might have told that I'm very tired, so please carry me. Krishna might have told her, please jump onto my shoulder. Then, but immediately Krishna must have disappeared, because it's described here. Krishna must have detected little pride in Radharani, that, oh, I'm so fortunate, like that. See, my husband is, my Krishna is carrying me, like that. She must have got little pride. But then they notice that Krishna must have disappeared again. That means Radharani must be in distress, like that. Uh, but they're saying that Krishna must be watching from somewhere, seeing her in sorrow, like that. Then all the gopis went further and further into forest, searching like that, until it became very, very dark. Late in the night, it becomes even more dark, right? Until that time, they started searching it. Then, but when they learned that Radharani was left alone, they felt very sorry for her. Earlier, they're feeling, oh, Radharani became so fortunate that we don't have the good fortune, like that, right? Now they're feeling sorry for Radharani also. Then they find Radharani on the way, and then they become sympathetic towards her, it seems. Then the last paragraph, as the night became totally darker and darker, they stopped their search, it seems. And what did they do? Their mind and intelligence was fully absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. They all imitated the activities of Krishna, pastimes of Krishna, and the way Krishna speaks also. And then they started to chant his glories in the terms of pastimes and glories in terms of the holy name also. In the bank of they all assembled at the bank of the Yamuna, and then thinking that Krishna must return to them, they engaged in loud chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So one of the prominent lessons we see in this pastime is that gopis are so attached to Krishna and so absorbed in thinking about Krishna. So every minute they were thinking about Krishna. Even during the searching time, They're not idle. They're thinking about Krishna. Then they're chanting about Krishna's glories like that. So that's one important lesson we as devotees can learn. We always, we also, as much as possible, either we keep hearing Krishna's holy name or Krishna's pastimes and chant Krishna's holy name or speak Krishna's pastimes, or even when sometimes we cannot speak in such circumstances, we can at least remember the holy name also sometimes. Like that, we can do. Then that way we can be absorbed in Krishna consciousness always like that. That's one thing we can learn from the gopis example. Another thing we can notice is that gopis are encouraging each other, appreciating others' good fortune. Like they're not feeling envious. Oh, see, earth, you have all the good fortune that Krishna is always keeping his feet on you. We're missing out. They're not feeling like that. They're appreciating that great fortune of earth. Oh, she must have done some great penances before. She must have done something to please Krishna. Like that, they're thinking. Not like why you should get it with that privilege. We don't get privilege like that. Not like that. So that's another thing we can learn when somebody is getting a special opportunity, either for service or something, some privileges in devotion service. We should be happy for them, thinking that Krishna bestowed his mercy on the particular devotee like that. Another lesson we can learn from this also, we heard about how Krishna doesn't like pride in our heart. So we should not cultivate pride. How do we not cultivate pride? When we know that everything we have, all the resources we have, abilities we have, and the skills we have, um, everything is coming because of empowerment of Krishna. So all we need to do is this has two sides we need to think through. One is, as long as we have desire to serve Krishna, Krishna will reciprocate with us somehow through his devotees or directly or indirectly. He'll reciprocate and may give us the enough resources, skills, capabilities to do particular service like that. That's one angle, one side of it we can see. Another side of it is that um, that that means we can do any service. We should not hesitate. Of course, some preferences are there for us at this stage right now. But as we get purified, we can cultivate doing any service that is required like that. That's one aspect. Another aspect I was thinking about service was, hmm, I forgot another aspect I was thinking. Krishna. Oh, that's the empowerment. Yes. That's about us doing service, right? Then next one is when uh, when we understand that we're actually getting the empowerment from Krishna. So one aspect is whatever we desire to do service, Krishna will empower us so we can do the service. That is one aspect. Second aspect is when you are able to do some service, then we need to understand that empowerment came from Krishna and Guru. When we understand that, then we don't become proud also. These are two ways we can make sure we're not proud. We can always be humble like that. I was reading yesterday some book by Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He was telling that how he has interesting definition for humility. He says humility means absence of false prestige. That means, oh, I should be seen as best devotee. I should be seen as best father, best husband, best son, like that. That false prestige we should not have. That is what is humility he was defining like that. And then going to this paragraph later on. Yeah, they're saying that, oh, Krishna must have taken Radharani on his shoulders because there are some pinpricks from dried grass here in this area. And Krishna must have picked some flowers in this pot to please Radharani. Krishna must have sat Radharani down and tried to set flowers in her hair. Mm, like that they're discussing. Okay. Then, and yeah, we're in the last paragraph, right? Yeah, last paragraph. Other lesson was that as far as possible, we should chant the holy names like that. That is the other lesson. Again, Prabhupada is underscoring it toward the end of the chapter also. So those are the key lessons from this chapter for us. Primarily, staying absorbed in Krishna through chanting and hearing like that, primarily. And then not be proud, understanding that everything we have is by Krishna's mercy. So we can pause here. Any comments or questions, anyone, if you have, we can discuss. Otherwise, we can continue next week.
No, Prabhu, the one thing that I take away from this is to not be envious. When we're envious that Krishna goes away from being close to us, and it's like something that you have to keep remembering. And also it's just funny because the gopis were doing the acting the pastimes of Krishna, and I remember as a child, 7-year-old, I actually practiced that, even though I did not know a lot about Krishna. And it just came to my mind. I was like just seeing myself as a young girl.
Very nice, Mati. Yeah, see this that's why these dramas and these cultural things have a great place in Krishna consciousness. They can leave impression in our heart, so that we can remember those fond memories.
Yep, so true.
Yes. Thank you, Mati. Okay, so if there are no other comments, we can continue again next week. We'll pause here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Let's offer obeisance to all the devotees of the Lord. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kupasandubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you so much, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.